Welcome to the family. Today's show brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. The Tom Bernard Show with...
Does my microphone have swords and cooties on it? Catherine Brandt.
Alex Brandt Bernard Rasmussen.
Andy Brandt Bernard.
Hey, Kristen Burt.
Kristen Burt. Yes, he did come in and do the show on Friday, so it might have...
We went and saw him last night.
Went and saw him last night.
Yep. Yeah, I haven't seen his act in a long time. He is willing to put himself out there.
Yeah.
I mean, whoa.
Yeah, I suppose that's probably the case. Kristen, how you doing today?
Lacking a little sleep because it was Oscars last night, so I had to work very late and then had to be up this morning. You're like my third radio show this morning.
Oh my
Look at
God.
you look all great and everything.
Thanks, it's been a busy morning, so.
Kristen Burt, Entertainment News, brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Now, it's interesting because the Emmys last night. Well, so how late were you up?
I probably got about 4 hours of sleep last night.
Wow.
I got
4
up at
hours?
5. Yeah, so I went to bed around 1-ish.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Too terrible.
Oscars are always just a really long day. You start early, you end late, you know what you're in for. So it's not a great surprise or anything else like that. But it is just like the week of buildup because I worked on Saturday too. I was down at the theater doing a segment for ABC, for Philadelphia, ABC 6. And so it's just a lot, but it's fun, And it was a good year in that there were a couple of surprises. It was a fresh host, like Conan did a good job. So it made it a little bit different than other years when it's just like, oh, it's Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, we know who's going to win. The elements of surprise were good.
I have no idea what happened.
Well, that's the good thing because we don't watch the Oscars anymore because you're on the show. So I want to learn from you.
Just give me the highlights.
Yeah.
No. I mean on this show, not that show. I wait to hear from you. Well, first of all,
because we get the abridged version.
Yeah, just give me the clip notes.
I want the unabridged version.
Oh, do you?
We'll be here for over 4 hours because that show.
4 hours of it.
I will tell you, they've tricked us now too. This is the other thing. They start the show at 4 p.m. here on the West Coast instead of 5 p.m. Sometimes some years they used to even start it at 5:30. So now when it gets to the 4 hour mark, you're like, oh, well, it's still, it's still light outside. It's not that big a deal. But come on, people. We know when all of a sudden we're 4 hours into the show, you do feel it. And what I loved is that Conan kept on making fun of it, just about it going on and on and on. So it made it at least funny because you were like, what bit is he going to come up with next? But I think the two big things, and this is the one that kind of hurt my heart. Demi Moore won the Golden Globe, and she won just about everything. She didn't win the BAFTA, but everyone just thought that she was going to be queen of the prom tonight and going to win. And it was Mikey Madison for Honora who won. And you could just see like the crushing disappointment on Demi's face.
What was she in?
The Substance.
The Substance.
It's a really good body horror movie about a woman who, as she gets older, is willing to do anything to stay young. So it was kind of ironic that a 25-year-old won the Oscar too last night, and Demi is about 62. She looks fabulous. But I think it's just hard because it's a long award show season. And when you've won most of the awards, you start telling yourself, like, this is going to be my night.
Right.
And I don't blame her. That is just like the human condition. And I did feel bad for her because she put in a great performance, as did Mikey. And, at the end of the day, it's just how people voted.
What's interesting is that Kath and I used to watch the Oscars years ago, but then as soon as you came on the show years ago, I don't watch the Oscars anymore because I want to get your take on it. And the other reason I didn't is many, many years ago, I don't know, maybe over a decade ago, all these guys like Robert De Niro and Tom Hanks had to puke up their personal political views. It's like, this is not a political show. This is about Hollywood. When they started talking about their personal politics, I just had no interest anymore. I don't care what Robert De Niro
What I've
thinks.
heard this year is they got a lot less political about it.
A lot less political.
Good.
I don't think that I don't recall call me, someone can DM me if I'm mistaken, but I don't think that there was a single presidential mention, which is good. There was a reference that Conan made a joke, but other than that, like,
Yeah, but that's
the rest of
fine.
he's the host. He can do what he wants.
Yes,
But
yes.
nobody was mentioning it during their acceptance speeches. Now, we did have people of the Jewish faith who won. We had people from Palestine win. Israelis win. So you had a little bit of like talking about wanting peace in the Middle East,
Right.
which,
That's fine.
when
Peace
they're
is good.
documentaries, peace is good. And I think that was really about it. The most obnoxious thing of the night was actually Adrian Brody and his speech.
Really?
Oh, it was like, let me tell you, I texted a friend last night because he kept on going on and on and on, but he was insufferable. And it started as he's
That's
going
too
up the
bad.
stage. He realizes that he's chewing gum. He pulls out his gum and throws it to his girlfriend,
Oh, God.
Georgina Chapman, who, by the way, just like in case you guys didn't know this, Georgina Chapman runs the fashion brand Marquesa. She is the most stunning woman, but she is also Harvey Weinstein's ex-wife.
Okay.
Just kind of like a weird dynamic. That's all.
Yeah.
But they've been in a relationship over 5 years, and she has nothing to do with Harvey. And the kids are basically being raised by Adrian Brody, so there's no issue with that. But he gets up there and he does his speech, and then he's, the orchestra starts playing him off, and he's like, "Oh no! I know how this is done. I've won one of these before. You stop. I'm going." And then he went on and on. I mean, it was over 5 minutes, and it was so self-serving. It's not often that I call out Hollywood for being like so obnoxious and self-serving, because I work in this bubble. I get it.
Yeah.
This was awful. And anyway, it's up on YouTube if anyone wants to torment themselves. But I bet it made a lot of people who voted for him wish that they had voted for Timothée Chalamet
Yeah.
and changed their vote.
If anybody needed a slap.
That was it. That was the night. That was it. It wasn't Will Smith got the wrong person.
Kristen, it's interesting because back in the day, we'd make a little popcorn or get a couple of pizzas or whatever and watch the Oscars. I used to be a huge Robert De Niro fan, a huge Tom Hanks fan. I can't stand either one of them anymore. I love your acting. Shut up. I'd love to come to your movies, but I can't because you're disgusting. And it's not because they picked one side. I don't want to hear it from either side.
No, you just want to be entertained. And I think that's where the red carpet is the most fun, because it's the fashion, who showed up outrageous, who's in a good mood, who's in a lousy mood. That to me is the most fun. And that's where they make the most money, by the way. So that's why the red carpet show has become longer and longer and longer. But the show itself, it was good. Conan O'Brien has nothing to be embarrassed about. He showed up, did well. People aren't criticizing him. And you know what?
like him.
That is the best thing you could possibly ask for, because you usually can't win on Oscar night as a host.
No.
I used to love Johnny Carson back in the day. He did a great job with that. He never got political or any of that stuff. And I think Hollywood maybe is coming to an understanding that, first of all, Robert De Niro, when he says things like, "If I find out you didn't vote my way, I'll kick you," it's like, Robert, you're a little tiny puppet. You're not going to beat anybody up. Shut up.
But De Niro's cranky anyway. We know.
Yeah, he is.
So he's
Yes,
just
he
gonna
is.
be cranky, curmudgeonly. Like, he's not even going to be happy on Oscar night, even if we handed him an Oscar and said, we're just going to give you one. He still would
Kristen,
be.
you know
miserable.
Brad Blanks, right? The guy who comes on the show. He came on KQ Morning Show for years. Comes on this show now. He one year said, "I am going to play all 17 of my interviews with Robert De Niro Oscar week." He said, "It's not going to be Oscar week. It's going to be Oscar day." He played all 17 interviews, different interviews. All 17 of them were one word.
Well, and
What?
like I said, we talked about this, and I was like, I wonder if De Niro has a Brad Blanks issue, because that could also be.
Well, he's such a big guy. Brad Blanks is 6'6", and I don't think De Niro likes that.
Well, when a celebrity takes a disliking to you, you can feel it, that they're just not feeling you today, and they're like, "Oh, not this girl again." It does happen sometimes, and it's
Really?
it's like anyone. You don't get along with everyone, and if you've interviewed a certain celebrity over and over again, sometimes they just don't like your vibe, or you don't
guess.
like their vibe, and you can
Yeah.
just feel like everyone just can't wait for this ish to be over with.
Well, that's
I'm always like, wrap it up.
That is unfortunate, though. Why don't you take a quick break? Be right back, because I want to get your take on, did your favorites win? Kristen Burt will let us know exactly what the situation is. We'll be right back in a couple minutes, right after this. From Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. What's up, Allie?
Oh, not much. Doing my usual thing of telling people they shouldn't be texting and driving. In Minnesota, you can't have your phone in your hands. You can use, hands-free, but you can't have your phone in your hands for whatever reason. And that's why they made the law the way they did, so that police officers could see a phone in your hand and you got no excuse for why you got it there.
Do people know that that's the law?
I hope so. I mean, they used to follow it, and then kind of COVID kind of made people forget. And now it's like a freewheeling world out there with cell phones.
Let's say you get pulled over because you do have a phone in your hand and you're not watching where you're going. You got to be in pretty big trouble then, I would guess.
Well, the first one's not as bad. It's the multiple ones, the problem. And once people start stacking them up, then they have a big problem. And then what we're doing in car accidents is we've started bringing motions for punitive damages, because I'm trying to use the civil law any way we can to stop this, because it needs to stop.
Whenever I'd had any problems in my life, who was that I called again? It was like an MB, something like that.
Bradshaw and Bryant.
Let's take a second to talk about my bank. That'd be North American Banking Company. Look, there's no shortage of banking options in the Twin Cities. If you're tired of being just a number to your big national bank, be sure to talk to my friends at North American Banking Company. They offer the same online and mobile banking options as other banks, but with the unparalleled service of a community bank. I also like being able to go to any of their 6 Twin Cities locations: Roseville, 50th and France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and Maple Grove. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Burt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Back to Kristen Burt. Kristen, I remember sitting with my sister Vicky. She's 2 years older than me. When I was a little boy and into my teen years, and we watched the Oscars every time they were on, and it was the popcorn and it was the Coca-Cola or Pepsi or whatever it was.
You watched the first Oscars?
No, I don't think so. When was that?
1929.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
I was among the missing
Also,
at that point.
They're going to be having their 100th in a few years, huh?
They are. This was
Really?
the 97th this year.
Well,
Did Laurel and Hardy ever win an Oscar?
I don't think so.
Okay, then I don't like them. I'm
You're like,
sorry.
how dare they?
let's
You're always
see.
it's shocking. Like
Oh.
certain people who haven't won Oscars, like Glenn Close. Wouldn't you just assume she has a couple of Oscars?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Still hasn't won.
The
really.
Music Box won live action short film
Okay.
comedy.
Thank God.
Well, there you go.
Laurel and Hardy. Yeah,
Did the
baby.
Have
film
one
win or did
Oscar.
they win?
They,
There's
the film one.
the film
Yeah.
one.
So, I mean,
yeah, unless they produced it, they don't get the Oscar. So there's always like a little catch with those things. They have
yeah,
to
it
be the
looks like
producer.
the closest thing they have is they got an honorary in 1960, at which I believe they were both dead. So, oh, no. Laurel was still alive for a couple more years.
He was,
So,
yeah.
There you go.
They do that often when someone hasn't won an Oscar. They will give you that lifetime achievement, and you're like, it's an Oscar, but it's just not the same.
Not really an Oscar.
Yeah.
though.
Diane Warren last night lost her 16th Oscar
Wow.
for
Oh.
Best Original Song. I mean, she's a very prolific songwriter and, written so many hits. They have given her a Lifetime Achievement Oscar a couple years ago, but it's just, I don't know how she sits there every single year and just loses over and over. And at a certain point, like, just give it to her. Just, do they hate her or something? Because I'm like, why are they letting her lose year after year? We know that she is one of the most successful songwriters in the industry.
You know, awards like that get to people, get in their brains somehow, whatever. Because I was told, that now the entire cast of the KQ Morning Show has been fired. Everybody who worked there would have had a 40 share.
Wait,
Yeah.
the newest, the ones that took over after you left?
No. But
No,
all
they're
of the
still there.
people on the original show from when did I win that? I guess I'm the only commercial guy, radio guy in Minnesota that's ever been elected to the National Radio Hall of Fame. Garrison Keillor has too, but he was on public radio. So, it's a little bit of a different thing. But I was told, and the reason I even bring this up is that the award show, that award was the day apparently management had a little too much to drink and said, this has gotten just to be too much. We were going to have to get rid of this show. We had a 40 share and just won the national induction into the National Radio Hall of Fame, and that's the day they decided to start tearing this. And apparently yesterday, or was it Friday, Andy? They fired the last two people from the cast when I was there. The entire 24 hours is gone.
Well, they have a zero share, so
And now they have a zero share.
how are
They-
they
Yeah.
paying their
Bummer.
bills?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They always go, who's been here the longest, who costs the most.
Yep.
Yeah, I
And they
suppose. But
sacrifice sometimes the talent and the skill set for a budget line
Yep.
item.
Yep.
I don't understand. Don't you have to make money in order to have a budget?
Yeah, but they're doing what they think that they
Can you get the
need
mic
to do.
closer to your mouth?
Oh, sorry.
There we
It's
are.
corporate. It's a corporate radio station now.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably. I mean, honestly,
They
they
don't
could just
care.
be cutting their losses at this point.
But don't you want to make money?
Well, to a giant corporation that owns 500 radio stations, I mean, what's sacrificing one radio station for a tax break?
Well, it's an interesting point because somebody and I won't say who it is because I don't know if he wants me to talk about this or not. And he said, Tom, I think they destroyed it because they needed some losses. And
Yeah,
they didn't like you
honestly.
because you didn't kiss their ass. So they wiped out the whole station so it would lose money and they could use it as a write-off.
Yep, that's
Yep.
a very
That
common
happens
tactic.
a lot.
That's amazing that people are that filthy.
Yeah.
That's why all of these office buildings and things that stand empty, especially since COVID, a lot of them don't need to be sold because they can keep them in their portfolio, and they can write off the losses of the empty
Yep.
Yeah.
space.
It's
They're just
very true.
it's
The reason
stupid.
the reason I'm talking about that is I got a call today from Bugs. Bugs owns Bugs Bar over on Concord Street in St. Paul. He's been a listener forever. I used to go over there once in a while when he first bought it. It used to be, it no longer is. It used to be a biker bar. So when you went in there back in the old days, you probably didn't want to stir the pot too much, if you know what I'm saying. But Bugs called me today, and he's very, very pissed off about that whole thing. And I don't care what the situation is. Bugs was always very loyal to me. I loved his bar. It's still there. Bugs Bar is open on Concord. It's not a biker bar anymore, so it might be a little more friendly to some other people. But that's why I even thought of that today because Bugs called me and said, how could they've wiped the place out? Why? And that's why I even thought of talking about it today.
Well, and it's public. It's instead of serving the people that are keeping the place running and keeping the lights on, like the talent and all the crew behind the scenes, it's about making the shareholders happy. And that's become an issue.
It's all money, isn't it? Everything is about money now. And I mean, everything's about money.
Yeah.
No, it's sad.
It really is too bad.
When they make everything about corporate greed, it just takes the soul out of everything.
Yep.
It does. And it's a tough job market. And a lot of people right now are looking for work and having no luck. And
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just tough. It's just tough. I have empathy for anyone in that situation right now.
Apparently got mad at me too because I pointed out I still make as much money as I did when I worked there, so it didn't hurt me at all. Good for you.
It'll hurt your feelings.
It did hurt my feelings,
sure
yes, but it didn't hurt my income because there are some really decent people. I might actually pop back on the radio soon. I don't want to do a show, but I might pop back on once in a while. I'll let you know when that happens. It'll
You
be
can do
fun.
radio. I do radio hits all the time.
Yeah.
You do what?
It's great. It's radio hits. So you do like a small segment. you
Yeah,
go on
yeah,
a
that's-
podcast.
That's what I'd like to do. Yep.
Yeah, I do it, or TV hits. I do the same thing, and it's great. Just even visibility, let people know where you are, where they can
Yeah.
find you.
100% agree.
That is very, very cool. So overall, the Oscars, since you've come on the show, I have not watched them because I want to hear your take on it. Catherine and I used to love to watch the Oscars, but then it got really political and didn't care for
Well, it wasn't this year, so that's the good
Good.
news.
That's
I've got
good
a good
news. That's
story
great.
though. I've got a good story about the
Love
Oscars
it.
though. This
Love
is more
it.
on the personal side. So my husband Bill often helps this woman who has a ton of rescue dogs, and Bill is the dog whisperer, so he can take care of like a herd. He's good. So he's like, I'm going to go and help Lisa with her dogs this weekend. She's attending the Oscars. And I was like, oh, okay, great. So, and then attending the Oscars in LA is a little bit more normal than it would be if you lived anywhere else in the country. You don't necessarily have to be nominated for an Oscar. You might be going with a friend. You may be going to network, whatever. So that's what I assumed. She was going to network. I did know that she was a documentarian. So in the middle of the show, the short documentary winner is this woman, Lisa Remington. And she won for The Only Girl in the Orchestra. So Bill texts me and he's like, oh, Lisa won. And I'm like, wait. The woman who you're watching the dogs for, she was a nominee. And he goes, oh, yeah. Like,
I forgot to tell you.
and I was like, so now you have Oscar-winning dogs that you're watching. And yes, Lisa Remington won for the documentary short, the only girl in the orchestra, about the very first female hired by the New York Philharmonic by Leonard Bernstein. And she was a double bassist. And what that was like, it was 1966. And she won. So congratulations to Lisa Remington and to my husband for failing to give me the full information.
Yeah, of all people, he should be telling you the inside scoop.
I literally was like, Glendale Girl? Like, Glendale Girl was an Oscar nominee? Like, I mean, I knew she was always flying off to film festivals, but I didn't realize that she was in the award show running, because Bill always gives me like, like just enough detail. And then I'll be like, dude, wait a minute. You were hanging out with like a Kardashian or something. Like, he just always gives the full story. So afterwards I'm like, well, wait a minute. Or you were at Jennifer Lopez's house? What? Which is true. He's done that before. He's like, I was at J-Lo's house tonight. Oh.
How about
Details?
an invite there, pal?
Yeah, what about
How
that?
about a plus one?
Has he been there for all 17 marriages?
Gosh. I mean, I think he's been there for at least 2 of them, maybe the Ben Affleck one, I think, and maybe the Mark Anthony one, because he's done some production work for some of her.
Oh, okay.
When people throw a party, you need the lighting and you need the sound. It's not just like, let's get a couple chips and dip and call it a party.
Yeah, turn on the Alexa.
Hasn't she been married like 5 times now?
4 times, I want
4.
to say. Yes. So Ohani Noah was her first marriage. He was a waiter. And then her second one was a backup dancer. And then a third one was Mark Anthony. And then it was Ben Affleck.
And she's,
Yep, you got them all.
Wasn't she engaged to somebody too, though? Or no?
A-Rod. Yeah, A-Rod. They had an engagement.
Oh,
And then
that's right. There
He
you go.
cheated on her with a reality star from Southern Charm, a Bravo TV star. No, she
Wonderful
claims that
people.
there was nothing physical, but there was clearly an emotional
God.
relationship going on.
I never pay any attention to
No.
the industry romances, because as soon as I learn the name, they're getting
I know.
divorced
They're
and
gone,
with
they're
somebody else.
gone.
It's like, it's not even worth my time.
I know. I was that way too. Like, I paid a little bit of attention. I learned all the, big celebrity couples.
Yeah.
And 5 years later, none of them were together anymore. And I was like,
Very
5
rare.
years is a
you have to
long
do
time.
you have to do like the kind of maintenance that a doctor has to do to keep their license to understand who's with who at this point.
Yeah.
And how much like intra-dating there is, the overlap, or like this, Brad Pitt's
Yeah.
been married to Angelina Jolie and Jennifer Aniston, arguably 2 of the most famous women in the US. I mean,
Yeah.
if not, there's a couple more to throw in there, but it's just
Yeah.
funny when you look at that. You're like, wow. And that was a love triangle that went on for like a decade. They did not let Jennifer Aniston move on.
Is that all about the business? Do they get married just so they'll become more famous and make more money?
I don't think so. I mean,
Good.
there was a little bit of the game, I think, when
Yeah.
the affair was revealed, and we're going back to 2005. And, Brad Pitt swore to Jennifer Aniston that there was nothing going on with Angelina Jolie, even though rumors from the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith said there's an affair going on. And then all of a sudden, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are on a beach in Africa with her little tiny tot Maddox at the time. And a paparazzo just kind of jumps out of a sand dune and takes their photo. We know that was orchestrated, and it became one of the most expensive Us Weekly magazine covers because they paid for the photos. That was in the era when they were paying millions sometimes for exclusive photos. That era's done and gone because of social media. But
Well, does anybody really care anymore about that stuff? I mean, is
No.
that something
Well-
that people would make money off of any longer? Or-
not really, because first of all, a lot of people, if you throw a party, you have to put your phone in a yonder pouch, and you're not allowed to use your phone the whole time you're there, or you sign NDAs to even go into a party. That even happens to me on the press side, to go into sometimes an industry party. And and social media makes things so immediate. Celebrities are accessible to us, so what do we care anymore?
Right.
No, it is very, very true. But this is exactly why I didn't watch it last night, because I wanted to get your take on it. I do, because, I tend to be very judgmental about that kind of thing, because Hollywood is so phony. I have a really hard time with that. But I guess the world's kind of like that too when you look at it. It's all about this, that, and the other thing, whatever.
But it's not. Like, once you work in the industry, there are so many incredible people working
Good.
in
Glad
the
to
entertainment
hear that.
industry. You know, I was down Saturday and I was talking to my friend. Probably shouldn't name her because I'm going to say something else after this. But I was talking to a friend who was working on the show, and you know, she was just talking about the fact that a quarter of the crew that was working on the Oscars had lost their homes in Altadena
Oh, yeah.
fires.
Yep.
And she just said, you know, and you know, when I was doing my interview with ABC, they asked me about the fires on camera, and I just started, my tears started welling up. And it's one of those things that, you know, I said to the reporter Alicia after, I said, it's so crazy because we've all had to move on. We have to work, we have to make money, we have to bring, you know, make sure that the Los Angeles economy is thriving. That's what's happening to all these people who were victims of the fire.
Right.
But it's still like just underneath the surface, like the trauma and the PTSD. And, you know, if someone asked me to talk about it, you go, oh, I'm a little more emotional about this than I realized.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you just realize how many people really love this industry. They want production to stay here in LA. And I hope that we, you know, I know they're adding more tax incentives. They don't come into effect until July, but I hope we can save Hollywood because people really do care.
Yeah, well, look, I still look back at all the things, and you know, Andy and Alex are of that age now. We're kind of paying more attention to it, maybe or not. But Catherine and I, about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago now, watched Fugitive Kind, starring Marlon Brando.
Mm-hmm.
Has there ever been a better actor than Marlon Brando? God, he was phenomenal.
He was like the actor of his generation.
He was, no
And I don't
question
feel
about
like
it.
we've had anyone really replace him.
No,
No.
that's my
know?
exact point. That's the point I was going to make.
That sort of role and actor isn't really popular these days, though.
Oh, really?
Timmy Chalamet is like your Adrian Brody, Timmy Chalamet. That's the type of actor we see.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we don't
That's
see
who I
like
thought
the
of. Yeah.
because like Brando did a lot of like bad boy roles.
Yeah, he
But
did.
that's not really in anymore. Like
It's
the
not.
rebel.
Well, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, that's
James
sort of thing.
Dean. It'll come back in
Exactly.
vogue. That's the
Oh,
thing. It,
James
you know, it
Dean.
goes through cycles.
Yep.
Um,
Now they want
It's-
soft boys and like gigantic hulks. Those are like the two
Yeah, that's
kind
right.
of men in Hollywood right
Yeah.
That
now.
was
that
not
is a
Marlon
Jeremy
Brando.
Allen White of The Bear also reminds me of like the Timmy Chalamets, the Adrian Brody. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
They
some
call him
kind
the
of
rat
cool though,
boyfriend.
because Catherine
yes.
and I last night went and saw Nick Swardson. He was at the Kravis Center, which is a magnificent, just
Yeah,
beautiful.
The
venue.
Improv that used to be down in whatever you want to call it, Rosemary Square or City
Yeah,
Place. They
yeah.
keep
The
renaming
square.
everything
Yeah.
down here.
I think
Yep.
it's isn't it the
They-
square?
Now
I think it's back to
Is it
City
Ro-
Place because
is it
nobody
City
liked
Place
the
again?
square.
City Place was always my favorite, I think.
Yeah, but they ripped down that entire entertainment area, and so now the Improv is on the third floor of the Kravis
Of the
Center,
Kravis Center.
which is
Oh.
a beautiful,
God, it's
beautiful
gorgeous.
theater.
But the reason I bring that up is because the audience's reaction to him, because Nick has been in a number of films. I mean, has he ever had a starring role? I guess you could all the role, but a lead role, I guess, is a different story. He
good
has.
question.
He's
Who?
had on television. He has.
He's written and produced and directed
What
But
are we
it's
talking
kind
about?
Nick Swardson.
his movies.
Oh,
his
is
movie
starring role?
career.
Yeah, he's had starring
What?
roles in movies.
Starring?
Yeah.
Well, he's written a
Grandma-
couple
Above
of
the
movies
title?
he started.
He wasn't.
He's not an above the title actor. He's
No,
definitely
I guess that's a
like
good way to put it.
strong supporting, I would say.
I suppose, yeah.
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 But people loved it. He's a very funny guy. Anyway, he's a really good storyteller, which is what I noticed sitting there in the audience. He's really good at telling stories, and I think people like that. Do people still like that quality in people, the great storytellers?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think what I do love about comedy is, you know, Netflix is a great supporter of stand-up comedians, which I appreciate, but also TikTok. There's a great audience for comedy on TikTok.
Yep.
Storytelling. And it's interesting because, you know, you always have your certain comedians who are on the radar and who you follow, and yet maybe you're seeing them on Netflix, but you also get to see this budding, emerging group of people that you would never have discovered if TikTok wasn't around. And I love that algorithm because there are some really funny people that I'm like, oh, yeah, you got to follow them.
Yeah, 'cause for
Melissa
the
watches
longest
a
time-
bunch of people, like, they do parenting stuff. And a lot of them got their start on TikTok and then moved over to Instagram for whatever reason. And the weird thing is, almost all of them are by coincidence Minnesotan. So she'd like watch them and then find out later that they're from Minnesota.
There's probably an algorithm that gets
I'm
into
sure
her
it's-
feed
yeah.
anyway. Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
these
you-
people are making like God, they have millions and millions of views on everything they make. It's insane.
well,
This
for the
one guy,
longest time.
literally, he goes in his car and he drinks coffee and talks about like
Oh, the little guy with the glasses.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he just talks about like what his kid did that day.
Yeah.
And he's getting like hundreds of thousands of views for this.
Yeah.
Well, for the
All right.
longest time, a lot of the comedians were doing. I mean, you got to know them from YouTube.
Exactly.
That's where they got
Justin
their start.
Bieber got his start on YouTube, right?
Yeah,
he sure did.
Yeah.
And it's just how storytelling, it takes different shapes and forms as technology progresses, as generations move on. But I don't think storytelling's ever going to die. I think that's what I love about that.
I hope you're right. I know you got to go, but I want to close with this. One thing I do love about the actors that I've known and the people, whether they're comedians or actors or whatever, we were sitting with Nick Swartzen the other night, and let me talk to Andy, because Andy called or I called Andy or something. So he sat and talked to Andy on the phone. Then the next night, let me talk to Alex, because he knew that Alex was there. I love that about those people because Andy and Alex have known Swartzen since they were 10 years old.
Something like
Maybe
that.
not that young,
Yeah, I was
but
gonna say like
still
maybe,
young.
like high school.
Yeah.
He still thinks the world of both of you. That's all I have to say, which, as a mom and a dad, that's very cool.
And he loves Jude.
He loves Judy, too. He does love Jude. our
Who
dog.
doesn't love Jude?
That's very true. Kristen, a brilliant report, as always. We look forward to talking to you every day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. A member FDIC, equal housing lender. I will tell you, I do love working with her. Isn't she just wonderful?
She really is.
On Wednesday, I really want to talk to her about the White Lotus.
Okay. Oh, God. Here, she's been talking about White Lotus. Yeah.
Don't forget that.
Before we go to break quickly, people are having a hard time with the stream.
They are?
It keeps dropping. So if you can hear this, you're listening on the old stream and it is dropping or not working very well, you can head into our chat room, chatsy.com/Tom Bernard Show. I posted a link to the new stream, and everyone says that one's working great. So,
Okay, good. So we had to get the word out that there's a new stream that works much better.
well, it's the stream that's going to be embedded on the new site and apps, and those are close to ready for rollout.
Oh,
But
okay.
it works, and you can, if you just go into the chat room and click on the link, it'll just work.
Roll out.
That's good. We're building an audience, and that had to happen. That's wonderful.
You
These
can
things
be a beta tester of the new stream.
There you go. That works for me. All right, we shall take a break and be right back in a couple minutes. Bob Sansevier will join us. And how do they find that again, Andy?
Chatsy.com/Tom Bernard Show.
Okay, chatsy.com. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach your finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute, no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute, no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold, investment consultant, LLC security investment advisor. Past performance, no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice, and I am a paid endorser.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, well, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? You know, inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
Ladies and
Sisters, if you only knew, you would wish you were in my shoes. Keep on using me.
oh, you faded it out. Bob Sansevier Sports brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyer seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That's minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Why are you in your car again, you pill?
Because I'm on my way to my studio in Wayzata, and I should have been there already, and I'm not. So
You're breaking up like
the
mad.
show must go on.
Except you're breaking up like mad is the problem.
Well, that's
Yeah, it's not
that better.
not
Talk slower.
great.
Yeah.
How soon are you going to be there?
It's
It's
When you get there, once you call us back.
I will do that.
Thank you, Bob, because
Okay.
it's just not working at all.
yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not working.
Well, until he gets there, I can tell you about Ethan tricked Melissa today.
He did?
Ooh.
So they were in the
Scammers.
car. I was here, and they were in the car. And Melissa called me to talk about something. And all of a sudden, Ethan goes, "I want to talk to Nana. Call Nana." And we're like, "Okay, we have 10 minutes to the show, but we can try calling Nana." And she's like, "Okay, I guess we're going to do that. Bye." And so she hung up. And then he says, "Don't need to call Nana." He just wanted to get her off the phone.
He tricked his own mother.
Wow, so he'll be just fine in this world.
Yeah.
You better play that drop right there, Andy.
Well, Mary, have you heard the new drop that we recorded?
No, but I would like to.
All right, because Tom has requested it. Here it is.
You're listening to the Tom Bernard podcast.
That is so cute.
3-year-old Ethan doing the.
Ethan.
He's a
That's
liner guy now.
adorable.
Mary, is your husband nuts?
Well, you've known him, Tom.
How long have you known him? I mean,
This is a question.
As soon as I saw him,
screaming at me. So
as soon as I saw him calling from his car, I went, "This is not going to work. It never works." He was breaking up like mad. I don't know why he does it, but it's Sandy though. That's Bob's
it's
answer.
okay. We don't need him.
Yes, we don't need him. You're absolutely right. Very good point.
What do we need him for?
Let me reread this. Mary Sansevier Sports brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyer seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. And now brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant. It's Mary Sansevier. Thank God.
We're gonna
Much
have to
smoother.
work on that.
Well, you can
I got
talk
nothing.
about
I got nothing.
what's the latest with the mule.
Mikey the Mule. Actually,
Yeah.
he's doing. He's a challenge. I don't know. They're a whole different breed for real. It's half of a horse and half of a donkey, and donkeys are really pretty opinionated, and mules have a reputation of being smarter than donkeys. He's really smart. If he watches you latch the door, it's a guarantee he is going to try to replicate that and get the door open.
Oh, dear.
So we get a little bit of that, but it's kind of fun. It's a challenge to have around, and I'm working on halter breaking him. He needs to get his feet trimmed, and I've been advised that he needs to be better about that because he does like to kick.
Oh, yeah.
So, we're just, playing with him a lot. Everybody wants to, he's the first person everybody wants to see when they come to the barn. They want to know where Mikey is.
I borrowed a donkey once to keep a horse company because everybody was out being boarded.
Jethro.
Yeah.
Jethro. And didn't somebody try to ride him and he bucked him off within a second?
Yeah.
He was supposed to be was it you, Alex? Were you bucked
Was it me? No, I feel like I was watching it.
I don't remember who
So
he did.
if you can get them broke to ride, they're amazing.
He supposedly
but-
was, but
it's a process, and then everything's always on their terms, but like when all the flooding happened in North Carolina, sounds like Bob, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
it's
built
Bob.
for like
Yep.
having a mule.
Stubborn as a
But
mule is a thing.
yeah, so but like in North Carolina when they had all the flooding and everything going on and all these places that were impassable, they were like bringing up teams of mules.
Yeah, they were.
Like
Yep.
some friends of mine, we wanted to go down there and like kind of see what we could do. But we have a foster daughter. Our oldest foster daughter has been living there for a while, so she wasn't that far from a lot of the really serious damage. She was fine, but we wanted to go down and see what we could do. But everything was blocked off and super limited. But they had teams of mules that were just hauling supplies up in the mountains and rescuing people and bringing them back. It was really cool.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I understand there were some mule casualties too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they fell down a hill that collapsed or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Poor donkeys. What are you going to do?
I'm trying to think of what I heard Bob bitching about sports. I tune him out a lot, but
Is there anything going on right now?
He literally never stops talking. So
Spring training.
Yeah.
But is
Baseball.
is baseball season going right now?
There's kind of a lull. No.
2 weeks.
Spring
So no season is on right now.
Oh, Timberwolves are.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Timberwolves
I
are.
don't
They're
know.
Did they ever
terrible.
stop playing? I mean,
Oh, the Wild?
It's hockey and wild. It's
Yeah.
like basically all of the time.
yeah.
But we had a
Wild
really
played
good game
yesterday.
against the Phoenix Suns yesterday. We won. And we had one of our players that has been out for a long time with a toe injury came back and he had a good game and everybody was all excited. So that's fun.
How about
Wait,
Mary?
a toe injury?
Yeah, he had a turf toe.
Turf toe?
toe.
Turf toe. Let's
come on.
see.
No, and he was like, we just traded him this season. This is his first season playing with us. And he's been out for like a month and a half or something like that. 2 months. with
Apparently
turf toe.
it's when you're basically you mess up your big toe by stopping too quickly or that sort of thing.
Yeah, and it's been this whole thing, and he's been out forever.
Just
and
cut it
then
off.
Yesterday was his first game back.
I would totally do that. I'd get a gigantic contract, and then I'd say my toe hurts.
I actually don't believe that. I think I think that was a cover. That was like a beard for something else because my doctor, our doctor actually is one of the doctors for the Wild. Like he's also it's Dr. Burns, and he's been my doctor since I was 19 because he became my doctor when I moved to Minnesota and became a Vikings cheerleader, and we just kept him. But his job is to get players out on the ice or out on the field, or we need to call him and ask him what the real deal is because no way it would
toe. Come on.
Okay, nothing. Okay, turf toe. I got stepped on by a horse with wearing shoes, and I had hey dudes on, and that is a problem. Turf toe is nothing. Like I lost my toenail. Like my foot was black and blue for like 3 months.
Oh.
Because I did what I tell every kid at the barn never to do. You're supposed to wear boots in the barn.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, how bad could it be? I just need to run and put a horse outside.
You think Bob knows? You think your husband knows we can see him moving around as much as he is?
What the hell are you doing, Bob?
He's like
I'm hooking up my internet so I can actually maybe transfer to a computer. Sorry. And by the way, I love the fact that Mary is, well, I wore hate you. Yeah,
You
don't
can
do
leave
it. And
now.
also,
I already did the sport report. I told him all about it when Michael Bradshaw was at the barn. He came out and rode horses with me. Oh, I've told all kinds of stories, but I already did the sports report, so we're done. Go away. You're dead to us.
We talked about turf toe.
We talked about
And we talked about turf toe, and that is not a real excuse for a player not to be able to play hockey. You need to call Dr.
It was
Burns and ask what
basketball.
the real story is.
basketball.
Oh, no, it was a Wild player, wasn't it?
No, it's a basketball player.
Oh, it was a basketball
Timberwolves
player?
play. Yeah.
Okay, well, they don't play on turf, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
a
does.
partial tear of a ligament in his.
Ow.
Oh, he could just wrap it up in some vet wrap and play.
Yeah.
In January, Dante
DiVincenzo.
DiVincenzo. He was out for 3 weeks, but did not need surgery because you don't need surgery on things that aren't real. Yeah, it's a partial tear of the plantar ligament. So
It was way more than 3 weeks too.
Oh yeah.
I think at the beginning they were like, "Oh, it'll be 3 weeks," and he just got back yesterday. Was his first game back since it happened.
See, I think
It's been
when
like
you make
2
that
months.
much money, you should be required to just like get rid of the toe, put a bionic implant in there, and get back on the
Okay.
Bob,
Yeah.
your
pitch or
camera,
whatever.
your camera
Bob, fix
angle
your
makes it
angle.
look like you're in one of those saunas with your head.
No, he
sticking
looks
out.
like a serial killer.
You look like a serial killer.
Now you're sideways.
That's much
Oh,
better.
don't do
That's
that.
much
Bob,
better now.
That's great.
It's like he has me down in the well, and he's gonna and
Yeah.
like lotion down in a basket.
All
Fix
of
that
this is
angle. What the heck?
What are you doing?
I don't.
You're making it worse.
I don't know.
Put it higher.
Bob's having a
Up.
day.
There it is.
Yeah,
Bob's
you
having a
you
Monday.
generally
There you go. You got it
I
now,
don't
Bob.
Giant
like a-
nose.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Great.
That's
They
what we
generally
need.
want
Explain why
cameras
you're
at
late.
eye level.
Yes.
Oh,
So,
by
Bob,
the way,
since you-
our poor daughter, our 15-year-old, she's worried she's going to have my nose.
Well,
Jeez,
there's
no.
doctors for that.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
are.
that's true. Bob, I have to ask you a newspaper man question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you've worked for both newspapers, have you not?
Yep, I worked for first for the Star Tribune and then the Pioneer Press, and I worked for 3 newspapers in New Jersey and the Associated Press.
Because a guy named Lewis, that just says Lewis, just sent in a message to me that just says, and this is all it says, the Fart Tribune. Really?
Must have been
Interesting
listening to
stuff.
Nick Swartz.
For that one,
I don't. Do people even read the newspaper anymore? I have not read a newspaper in years. I got to be honest with you.
most people go online to read it. And here's what I have. You should not be allowed on social media to put your newspaper, any type of publication, unless you let people read the stories you're promoting, because they all want you to pay. The Star Tribune is like that. Every story you try to read, if you don't pay, there's some
you hit a
subscription.
paywall.
You can't read it. So don't give it to
Oh.
us. The New York Post is one of the few that they don't have a firewall that they don't keep you from reading.
Ah.
So
That's
I
so
use a lot.
weird.
Did you know that Zepp got fired from KQ?
I saw something this morning, but that doesn't surprise me.
No.
Yeah, they're getting the cleaning house.
That's everybody now, Bob. They're all gone.
And who was in the afternoons? May?
No, Lisa
No,
Miller.
Lisa Miller also, I guess.
She's still there. She got fired too.
No, she got fired too.
Oh, she did.
Well, I mean, are they shutting her down or what?
They may as well, because I guess the ratings are just horrendous. They
Well,
got
I mean,
a
of
0
course-
share.
He'll be gone next. I mean, it's just a matter of how long, and they'll probably go to what? They'll probably syndicate something.
And this is the problem that I have with that. It is 100% not about the people. It's all politics. Minnesota politics has gotten so out of control, they're destroying very successful businesses because we don't have the same views as you do. What are they insane?
Yes.
Yes. You can't destroy businesses just because somebody doesn't agree with it. Look,
Yes, they can.
like I've said before, as long as you don't go too far left or too far right, I'm fine with that. That works for me. You get the extreme politics on either side. I don't want to read that.
No,
Or
and you're
be
getting
around
that
it.
from a place like the Star Tribune.
Star Tribune is horrendous. I mean, it is. It's terrible.
Well, it's owned by Glenn Taylor, but he does not get involved, to his credit, in what the editorial decisions are.
I have a question for you, Bob. Back in the day, owning a newspaper was very lucrative. Now, owning a newspaper, is there any money in that anymore?
It depends on what the newspaper is. I think the Star Tribune does very well. Here's an
Oh, does
example.
it still? Because of
Growing up-
advertising?
Yeah, the advertising. The North Star Ledger, by far the biggest paper, 400,000, 500,000 subscriptions. I believe, at the end of last month, they went to web only. No longer can you get a newspaper.
Really?
And
A lot of them are doing that.
I worked for the Asbury Park Press. It was the 3rd largest paper in the state, pushing 250,000, maybe higher certainly higher on Sunday. They're down to 11,000 subscriptions.
Oh, God.
They'll go online only soon. That's
unfair.
horrendous.
That's
But
really
here,
too bad.
actually, the newspapers in Minnesota, they're doing okay in terms of, I mean, the Pioneer Press has been a cash cow for the equity
Really?
firm that owns that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, shockingly.
Huh.
But they also payroll. They got very few people. They have the Star Tribune is the one that puts their paper out for them. So they have found a way to really slash costs. I mean, there's not a newsroom anymore. There's a few offices, and everyone works from home.
God,
So
I'm such a...
what might continue to survive, it'd be like the local, like going lower, not like national or anything, because like the Wright County Journal is super fun to read to me
Oh, good,
because
good.
everything's written by people that I know and about people that I know. And it's all local news. Like it's like hot air balloon crashed the other day. That's going to be front page news. Not really
Right.
crashed. They just struggled to stay in the air as they went over Buffalo and then they had to land. But um it's all local stuff, like you see all the like the high school sports and like local businesses and like the community theater, and it's kind of fun because you do actually know the people that work there.
Weren't those called shoppers or something at one time? There was always like a local shopper that had some news and
I think that might be part of it too. Like
yeah.
they've either blended or merged, or they always coexisted maybe. But I know that that's always popular here. Like it gets delivered, but it sells out like at Quick Trip. If there's something that I want that I want a copy of, I gotta book it on over to Quick Trip because it'll be sold out.
Oh, okay.
Indeed. Why don't we take our break here, be right back. The Sansevier family is with us. Thank God for Mary being here on time,
Yeah.
My sports report was stellar.
It
Wait to
was.
hear what I had to say.
It's legendary. It's going to win awards. I can feel it.
We got Mary, Bob, got Andy, Alex, got Catherine. We'll be right back right after this. For Brad, John Bryant, Michael Bryant. Michael, what's up?
Dealing with another case where a person gave a statement to the adjuster because they thought the person was really friendly.
Is that a good idea?
Well, the problem is they know the law when they call you up. And while you're trying to be fair and you're trying to get help, the reality is there are questions you get asked that the way you answer them make a big difference. And people put themselves in trouble. And when they aren't in trouble, they didn't do anything wrong, but suddenly the adjuster's got a statement that can blow up their case completely.
What has caused people to be so untrustworthy, I guess is the best way I could put it? They take advantage.
Well, insurance companies have hired adjusters whose job it is to deal with unrepresented people. So they're supposed to kind of lure them in, call them every day, see how they're doing. And people are like, oh, I'm doing pretty good. Where the reality is they've kind of adjusted to their problem that they've got going on. So it's not that they're completely better, but the way they say it gets to be a problem. And that's why having somebody who can explain your rights, represent you, make sure that you understand the law before you give a statement can make a big difference in your case.
Michael Bryant, Bradshaw and Bryant. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser. MyPillow is excited to announce that they're having their first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 30% on their brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one Mike has worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get the 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. The initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And the best-selling standard MyPillow, just $14.98. To take advantage of the first-ever mega sale, go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM, or call 800-516-5146. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship has sailed because right now every order ships absolutely free. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Mary Sansevier, some other Sansevier. Is it Bob? Is that his name, Mary?
Something
Hey
like
Bob,
that.
you couldn't use that little break there to fix your camera?
I'm working on it.
Yeah, that's a bright light you got over your head, I will tell you that.
Oh, I could try
Maybe
to.
adjust
You need
that.
Andy to stop in your studio and help you out with some.
No, I have to my computer. I mean, I came off the road and I had the longest. I realized the longest stoplight in Minnesota is the one at Wayzata by Lund's. My God, that thing was like 7 minutes long.
It does take. Some of these are taking a lot longer than they used to. You're right
Why?
about that. I don't know, but they changed that. Some of those lights are like 6-7 minutes long. They're red.
I remember out in Rogers, you know the one when we were going home from Target?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you'd leave Target and then you'd have to cross the highway or whatever.
Right.
It was.
Yep.
I remember that light being like 10 minutes long sometimes.
It's true. They go very, very long. There's no question about that.
I actually don't see lights like that too much anymore. I think it's because they're not timed. They're like they're sensor lights now.
Yeah.
So they can actually, suck a little less.
Now, Bob, being a sports expert for so many years, let's not forget that. Are the Twins going to win any games this year? They've won, I know, a couple, maybe 3. I think they've won, and they've lost a few or whatever. But man, when they look bad, they look really bad.
Well, they're consistent in the way they play. Bad. You know what? I don't think they're ever going to be any good until they sell the team and they have new ownership willing to spend the kind of money it takes to be competitive.
And the people who
Weren't
are
they
going,
in talks?
what?
Weren't they in talks to sell the team?
Yep, but they pulled out. The other guy pulled out. They want to buy the Chicago White. Is it the White Sox now?
White Sox. He was a minority owner in the White Sox, and apparently told him we'll give you more of the team.
So he's not going to buy the Twins now. And so the Twins don't have anybody that want to buy them?
Well, here's why not, once they get this deal done, we heard all the backers that A-Rod has and his partners. I mean, they got Bloomfield money now, or Bloomberg money.
Right.
So why not have them get involved? Or I'll tell you what, the best scenario would be if the Wilfs got involved and decided they wanted to own the team, because they do spend money. They've shown that they do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, that's true.
Now, I'm going to try to get on with, to come on with you on the other one. So I may disconnect from here and come on to there.
Okay.
Very high
And
tech.
I'll let him back on if he gets disconnected.
Mm-hmm. just don't let him back on at all, Mary. Just
I've been
dump him.
torturing him for like 35 years. Why stop now?
Okay,
Well,
there.
Bob's only been annoying me for about 25 years.
Double Bob's.
I've known you more than 25 years.
Well, I know, but
Okay.
you've been annoying me for
Now he's
25
through a
years.
screen door.
Now you
Now-
need to stop breathing on your camera and wipe it off.
I think we need to wipe out
Dirty.
the camera.
Let me wipe it.
Freeze
It
through
cannot
your
be
nose.
that dirty.
Is that better?
No.
We could barely see you.
Picture from 1973.
That is pretty
Yeah.
bad.
What's
You want
going
me to
on?
come back on the other one?
Your
He's joining
colorization
us from the
is
living room from 1975.
Boy,
Yeah.
have
I'm
I
going to call
ruined this
Michael
show.
Bryant and tell him to send you a check for $0.00 for this. I want you to know that.
See, and I
Oh,
was going to
Mary's
give
on.
What's that?
She's all shiny.
Who?
You.
You.
Me?
Mary looks
I'm
great.
because I'm standing in front of a window.
Mary looks great. Don't deflect, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob. Yeah, Bob. I'm trying to change the subject, trying to, that doesn't work.
Mary, is it not true? Only Bob could show up on 3 different cameras and look worse each time he popped back on. Only Bob could do that.
I don't even understand. Like,
I think he rubbed some Vaseline on the camera so he'd look more glamorous.
It's all
You
gray
OD'd on
and
it.
weird.
did you
Let me
put
see if
on
I
your
can do
worker's
some-
hand cream there and touch your camera?
I can make it darker. Can't do much
No,
else.
it's
No,
it's
that's-
dirty.
It's
It
Is
looks
I
that
just
dirty.
wiped it.
It looks dirty to me.
Bob, what did you
Okay.
wipe it with?
My
Used
my
toilet
hand.
paper?
Well, your hand is going to make it worse, not better.
Okay,
true.
I'm going
I
to read
licked it. And
in my. Here, wait a second. What'd you say?
said that, did you lick it? Like,
When I look, I make all of you look so
Yeah.
much better. Look,
Do you
I've
want
got
me
my.
to tell? Do you want me to
I've
tell
got
him
my
the
wet
story?
wipe.
You know,
got
he
clean.
says a lot of things. I actually got the ick from something he said. Should I tell them that story?
Uh-oh.
the
Oh.
I put up with a lot. It was so embarrassing in our tax appointment.
Okay, I've known the guy for decades.
Well, now it's
He
noisy,
hasn't-
too. No, it's just
he
as bad. It
hasn't
didn't
known
help.
him for decades. He's what,
No.
30?
No,
What,
he's
did he change his
older than
diaper?
that. Here's a story. We go in to see our tax accountant. And he said, "Well, I think it's going to be pretty bad." So, but then there was stuff we didn't give him yet, so we brought it, and suddenly things were better. And I said, "I'll tell you what. If you could completely flip this, I won't just give you a kiss. I'll tongue you." So Mary gets all like indignant.
He told our accountant he wanted to tongue him.
I said,
Yeah.
I am
"I
surprised.
Bob, that's
I
inappropriate.
I knew
Bob.
that
That is so inappropriate.
Yeah,
to get us.
Bob.
I
How
understand.
old are
what
you?
was
He's
saying.
like the age of your children. That was
Oh,
disgusting.
he's not. Okay.
Call
So
him
then I
up
said,
and ask
fine.
him.
Because Mary got all indignant. I said, okay, I'll tongue you. I think she said, no, tongue him instead.
Yeah, I did. I said I changed my mind. Go ahead. Tell him all
So
you
what
want.
was the reaction of the said accountant?
He
Yeah.
didn't care. He knows it's a sense of people have senses of humor, unlip the bride of mine, the
Oh.
one I married. Thinking,
Ooh, going after the bride.
Fight.
Catherine, he was like, he has an accountant face. Just put,
Okay.
it's like,
he just wanted to get back to the numbers.
I'm trying to think of a flat. I mean, no expression.
Right.
He was a brick wall. He just looked at Bob, looked at me, and looked back at his computer and
Numbers.
said, "Okay, let's just wrap it up
I
here."
just want the numbers.
One thing I love, I've known Bob and Mary Sansevier for so long. Mary, it's great that I've known you for so long because I know when you and Bob are having a little spat, you sit further and further back in your chair. You go like this. You go, yeah, Bob, let me
I
just
get
go.
closer.
There she goes. She's got this going now, too.
Okay.
God.
So we have friends that say that this goes back to the 50s, so it gives you an idea how old a friend is. The Battling
Alex gotta go.
Dickersons.
Bye, Alex.
Bye, Alex.
Oh,
Bye, Alex.
You didn't hear us. Anyway, sorry, Bob. Go ahead.
No, remember I never saw it, but the Battling Bickersons.
Oh, God, yes.
William Bendix might have been one of the Bickersons.
I loved William Bendix.
Yeah.
No, that would mean they bicker. I can always find a way. I am the undisputed champion of I can make anything Bob's fault. You give me a scenario and I can make it his fault.
Yeah,
it seems to be
That
a
long
skill.
stoplight was 100% Bob's fault. You know what he did? He stopped too far back and the sensor didn't pick him up. So he sat there for 10 minutes because he's an idiot and he can't roll his car a little bit. He can't roll his car 4 inches forward so the sensor picks him up.
Or Catherine, have you ever done this to Tom? I'm talking to somebody about red light therapy. Mary, my door explodes open because she wants to tell me something. I thought somebody died in the family. And I'm in the middle of an interview because my daughter, my 15-year-old, heard one thing and completely changed the context of the conversation. First of
She
all,
just heard
she's
therapy?
doing her schooling, which is why she's home. And then
I did. I'm usually pretty.
Imagine now, Tom, you got that door behind you. Imagine Catherine bursting in and start yapping or opening her maw, and
Her maw.
her capacious maw, her pie hole,
Oh my God.
blabbering away.
Well, Bob doesn't even understand this. Like, he doesn't understand. Here's a little one. And then it's like,
Cut.
stop. And then finally I have to say,
Mary,
shut
it was
up.
not okay. Now she's diverting.
Okay,
It
that
has
was a
nothing
different
to do with the
scenario. I was
conversation.
wrong.
And by the way, for couples watching, this is healthy because you don't want to keep it in.
That's true.
So,
I would agree with you 100%. We can just say this. We only got about 2 minutes left to go here, but I'd like to say that a clear picture of Mary and a cloudy picture of Bob is a better way to go than the other way, than the reverse.
profile of my unclear picture. How about, I got to ask you, did you talk about the Oscars yet?
Yes,
A little.
Kristen, a little bit.
With Kristen
And did
Bird.
you talk about why nobody's ever heard of the Best Picture nominees?
No, we did not.
No, I want to talk. Well, we can close with that. Why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break? We'll be right back, and then we'll close with Oscar talk. Is that good?
All right.
That'll work, right?
Works for me.
All right, we'll be right back in just a couple minutes right after this.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
Let's take a second to talk about my bank. That'd be, of course, Mike Bilski, North American Banking Company. Look, there's no shortage of banking options in the Twin Cities if you're tired of being just a big number. a number at all to your big national bank, be sure to talk to my friends at North American Banking Company. They offer the same online and mobile banking options as the other banks, but with the unparalleled service of a community bank. Actually, Catherine, I want to ask you a question. I'm kind of jumping in the middle of the spot here, but Catherine and I have been banking with North American Banking Company for years and years and years now, but we had to do business with another bank in town. How many days did it take for them to get back to us?
Many.
It was
Many
like,
days.
wasn't it like a week?
Yeah.
And they had no idea what we were talking about.
No idea.
And this had to do with a pretty sizable amount of money too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's the one thing. This is shoulder to shoulder, face to face with North American Banking Company and Bilski. I also like being able to go to any of their 6 Twin Cities locations, Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and Maple Grove. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Well, 4 of us are back, and Bob's kind of hazy back.
Bob's in a foggy spot.
Yes. It's very smoggy where he is.
It really is.
Turn on an
Nightmare,
air cleaner.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
So what did you want to talk about now? We were going to the Oscars.
I wanted to mention, I did not know this until I saw the story today. I'm the New York Post, where you don't have to pay to read. The reason that few people have heard of the top 10 pictures that were in for Best Picture, did you know that for Best Picture, there is a DEI requirement?
Yes, there is.
30% of the people that work on those movies have to be DEI.
Yeah, that's
why.
The Godfather never would have won if those rules were in place then.
Italians aren't white.
The others.
No.
There's a good argument.
What?
I said Italians aren't white, so they count.
Yeah,
They
somebody's
should
on their
count.
hall
I
yelling at
agree.
each other. I thought DEI was fading fast. Don't they know that?
Well,
Some places
These
are
Oscars
not.
rules are from, I think it was like 4 or something years ago. They put them in place. 3 or
Yeah,
4
they've been
years.
around a few years, and I never knew, but I'd always wondered, what the hell movie is this?
Yep.
A movie that won, I might have heard of it. I didn't know what it was about. I had to look it up and see what it was about.
You know, there has to be a certain amount of basically non-straight white men. Like, there has to be a certain amount behind the cameras. There has to be a certain amount on
Yes.
the editing team. There has to be a certain amount on stage and so forth.
What's her face? When she accepted an award many years ago, she kept on saying, inclusivity rider. This is what we all have to do.
Yep.
Make a rider in our contract that it hires X amount of people from X amount of tick
What happened?
boxes.
Unbelievable.
It also may be time to eliminate, just have best actor. You don't need best actor, best actress, because one of the best actress of the 5 nominees, one was a transgender woman. So,
Sorry.
I mean, again, if you want to go down the road of the thing with like sports, then just have best actor. If you're going to count it, that's more inclusive. That's fairer.
You know, I got to be honest with you about this. I was just thinking about this yesterday, as a matter of fact. They're talking about inclusivity and everybody being involved, blah, blah, blah. I can go back 70 years almost in my life. There were black kids. There were white kids. There were Native American kids. There were Mexican kids. There were Italians. There were Irish people. My school, and you went to Catholic school, did you not, Bob?
No, I did not.
Or you never did?
Nope, public all the way. I substitute taught in a Catholic school, but that's as far as it went.
70 years ago, we had a society at our school that was everything they're talking about. Now, I suppose not the, sexual orientation or sexual, whatever it is, but we had everybody of every color and everything, boys, girls, nobody was excluded. What happened that they never noticed that? Because then they turned on, it was a Catholic school, of course, so they turned on that too, because it was a Catholic school. It was a horrible kind of school because it was Catholic. I just, when are these people ever going to wake up, grow up, and shut up?
Never.
Well, the biggest problem is you have a far left and you have a far right, and that's
Yes.
where the trouble comes from.
You're absolutely right, Bob, and we're talking about that today. I will not get involved with anything that's either far right or far left. I am sick to death of it. I like Democrats. I like Republicans. I got no problem with either one of them. But your extreme positions are getting way over the top. Number one, because you have no idea what the hell you're even talking about. You've never been involved in inclusivity in your life because you're so touchy about it now. If you had been involved in it, like I was, and probably, a lot of people like me in my age group, 70 years ago, we were doing the things you're talking about now. But didn't. Where you came from didn't. So now you're trying to make up for lost time by trying to pretend that you care.
And this is not the time to go back, but I do want to find out when progressive politics and when far right wing came in, because there was a point when a Democrat was basically what a Republican is now.
That's correct. Yes, you're absolutely right.
I don't know who changed it and when it changed.
And it's all people who have no idea what the hell they're talking about. They're basically mid to upper middle class people who live these pristine lives, and now they're experts on how the inner city should be run. Well, you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. None.
No, and take a look at every city that has a major crime problem, and is mismanaged. Who's running them? Well, we won't go down that road. I will go down a different road, though. This whole thing with Zelensky and Trump. There are stories now that Zelensky was fine coming in, but progressive Democrats met with him and told him, you have to stand up to Trump. You have to fight him.
Oh, God, I'm so sick of it.
And that whole thing, they were both wrong. First of all, he doesn't have to say he has gratitude or that he's, to thank them. What he needed to do is say, I want peace. And he didn't do that. And that was why there was a problem.
Well, isn't there a problem because the U.S. gave the Ukraine, I don't even remember,
Billion.
$170 billion or something, and Zelensky said he only got $60 billion of it, and nobody knows where it went? I mean, this is a problem. People need to be accountable for the money that they receive, and the United States needs to be accountable for the money that they're giving to people, and not just have it disappear, like in the Pentagon and everywhere else.
I think Elon Musk will be able to track where that money came from or where it went. Maybe it went to the big guy.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, doesn't he have like 7 airplanes now? Somebody told me that Zelensky has 7 airplanes that he uses.
Well, he took one of them to go to Europe and, and kiss butt over there to have his buddies.
Oh, God, I'm sick of these. It's always about money.
Yeah, that's the thing is I don't know what is true because there's all kinds of reports that Zelensky has a $60 million house down here in Florida.
He's supposed to have a number of homes. And frankly, I stand with the Ukraine. I don't stand with Zelensky. I don't trust this guy.
I agree.
No.
All right, I'm going to go vomit now because I'm so sick.
It's all.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care about skin color. I don't care about preference. I don't care about. It's all about money. That's all that matters anymore is how much money they're going to make from it. Yeah. You're disgusting pigs, every one of you.
Wow, on that note.
I'm serious. I'm so sick of these people trying to pretend they care. The only reason you care is because you want to get money for it. Disgusting.
Or minerals.
Pricks.
Well, and they care now because it's getting uncovered that a lot of this money's not going where it was supposed to go. Like all these funds that were misappropriated.
That's been going on for decades. All this money is supposed to go to save, starving children wherever. It doesn't even get to the kids.
Nope.
I mean, come on.
By the way,
that's
very
so
quick.
Frustrating.
I'll shut up after this. In the state of Minnesota, there's several scandals, right?
Oh, several.
Did you see when our governor was asked if they're still getting money? They're still paying out money to these groups under investigation.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's amazing.
Because they're still looking into it. Anyway, I'm sorry. I don't mean to take you down that road because
No, I'm glad you did take us down that road because nobody else will tell the truth, Bob. This show tells the truth. Nobody else will do it. They'll take a side.
But, but a lot of people they're not getting full information. Everything is censored, and the media picks and chooses what they report. We get bits and pieces from this interview, and everybody wants the little tidbits because they're busy. Nobody takes the time to watch the entire interview or to watch, the read through, court documents and things like that.
You need to be careful when Mary talks, as she's far right. She told me that I'm a liberal.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
to her, I am.
Interestingly enough,
he has liberal tendencies.
X usually does lean right, and ever since the Zelensky Trump kerfuffle, the algorithm, honest to God, extreme left is just going
Yeah.
insane. Insane.
Yes. And by the way, one of the great underused words in our language, kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle is,
That's a
yeah.
good word.
Kerfuffle's a great
It is.
word. So again, let's just, it's time to go, I understand, but let's be honest. It's always about money. They don't care about anything other than the money they make from it
And how it looks.
and how it
And how
looks,
they
because
get
they can
power
make
from
more
that
money. All right,
I
I'm going
wish
to
I
go
could
vomit
get updates
now.
from X, but I got to tell you, I'm kicked off right now.
Oh, I got kicked off last week.
Oh, you did?
You got kicked off of X?
Yes.
Yeah, I said something very mild, and they were like, "You're inciting violence." I'm like, "No, I wasn't." But okay.
You know
I'm
what's
gonna
interesting?
argue.
You say
So
that
they should
because
have a little jail room where like people like me and Catherine can go meet, and then when we're
Yeah.
kicked off, then we
Yeah,
could just
yeah.
have a little tiny group and just
Yeah.
like chat amongst ourselves.
you know, it's interesting you guys bring that up because I didn't even know this, but I got a message from Gmail that I had been kicked off of Gmail for some things I said, and I don't. What are you talking about?
Right.
Gmail.
On Gmail, and then I got a message from him yesterday. Oh, sorry, we were wrong. You're not kicked off anymore. It's like
Get off
what?
Email.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like
that
what?
for you.
You're not.
There's a big scam with Easy Pass right now too. It's like, oh, just click
Yeah,
on
don't
this
click
link
on
to
that.
pay your old bill, your old
yeah.
tickets.
Yeah,
You're
who
gonna
does?
get tickets.
She's got her driver's permit. She got one, and she was all worried. I'm like, don't click that.
No.
When's the last time you drove through a toll? You don't even have your driver's license.
Yep.
By the way, I did tell them I don't give a rat's ass if you kick me off of Gmail, Hotmail. And I don't care. Who cares?
Hotmail.
Jesus. Well, what the hell's it now?
Outlook.
Outlook. Yeah, it's
Live or
now.
Outlook, yeah.
Whatever the
It was
hell it
Hotmail,
is.
then it was Live, and now it's Outlook, I think.
I
My
miss
first one was
Prodigy.
earthlink.net.
Ours was
Yeah, there you go.
Prodigy.net. I remember
Which one?
still.
Just go out and suck up more money and kiss ass for money. Why don't you all do that? All you people that get so involved in this.
Okay, tonight should be a nice night.
All right, we're gonna. I'm so sick of these holy roller.
Oh yay!
Holy
Get
Lord.
it out. Let them get
Well, I
it
think
out
I gotta
now.
go
Then
try to
it'll be
get
a
back
great
on
night.
X now that you guys all started talking about it. I think I offended Harry Balls, so I gotta see if I can go apologize and get back on.
There you go.
All right.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later.
See you later. Have a great
Yep.
week.
Bye.
You
All
do.
Bob and Mary Sansevier Sports is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant Personally Injury Lawyers. That's going to go. Sorry I get so whipped up, but I am so sick to death of these holier than thou people. It's all about money. They don't care about anybody or anything other than making money, and I find it
Okay, I'm going to change the subject.
disgusting. Yes, we'll change the subject now. Thank you.
Jeremy
And-
Crusher.
Yes. Oh, I like Jeremy
He
Crusher.
follows us on Twitter.
Yep.
He said that he's got a friend that works closely with Cumulus and sounds like they're trying to get Paul Fletcher to do mornings with Gorman. Who is Paul Fletcher?
I have no idea who Paul Fletcher is.
Let's see. He was on Cities 97, it looks like.
Oh. I don't
You think they'll have a 40 share like we did?
Let's see. Oh, yeah, he just
gotta
had
be
his
better than
job
zero.
cut in August, it looks like.
Is he ultra
He's
liberal?
97. Paul Fletcher is the latest victim of radio job cuts. 12-year run at the station.
Oh. Wow.
So I guess, as far as I'm aware, he's not
Was he-
doing anything right
Was
now.
he doing a morning show or what was he?
He was the afternoon drive host
He was
till
afternoon
October
drive, okay.
2023, and
Well,
then
City's a very
they moved
liberal
him to the
station.
morning show,
Yeah.
and then they cut him about a year after that.
Mm.
Apparently, he is very into hockey.
Oh, so that's
Oh,
good.
Well, that would be good for Minnesota.
But he better understand. I don't know him, and he might be the nicest guy in the world. I never met him, and I don't know him. But unless you're an ass kisser in politics, you ain't going to make it over there
Pucker
anymore.
up, buttercup.
All it is ass kissing politics now. That's their whole deal. So good for them. But in any case, so yeah, I don't know Paul Fletcher. I hope he does well. Look, he's taking a job because he doesn't have one. I understand that. I wouldn't hold that against him.
Nope.
The other backstabbing prick he's going to work with, I'm just saying, watch your back, pal. That's all I'm saying, Paul. All right, that's going to do it. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right.
Got a picture in my pocket, reminds me of this was before. Every time I hear the singing, reminds me how you talk in my door.